I moved over to United Kingdom from Nigeria at age 11. My mom had already moved over from Nigeria 18 months prior. She had made that bold decision for the family to seek better opportunities for myself, my brother, and my dad. The first few years settling into the UK was a bit rough. I missed my friends, my family, and just having to blend in and speak in a more relatable British accent.
I was born in Nigeria as well. When I was 7, my family and I then relocated to Ireland. I remember finding it really difficult to adjust to life in Ireland in those early weeks and months. It was a huge change that had happened overnight. I had to adjust to a whole new way of living, a new culture, a new dialect, very different weather. My family and I ended up moving back to Nigeria when I was 14. And so what this essentially meant was I grew up being exposed to both Western cultural values and my native cultural values, and really just trying to figure out how to navigate the differences between them.
So the difference between growing up in the UK versus Nigeria in the early days was more of the community feel. In Nigeria, it felt like we had more of like a village raising us. We had the grandparents, the cousins, the neighbors, would share meals, during the holidays, travel over to see each other. And in the UK, it felt more like it was our parents that are our primary caregivers. I met Deji in 2012 in Cambridge through our local church. We were both serving, but we didn't actually start dating till our final year.
We continued dating for about 4 years after we graduated from uni. I moved back to Ireland where I got a graduate job working as a management consultant, and Fiyin was working as a trainee optometrist in Ely. So we were in different countries for those initial 2 years after uni, but not a million miles away. So at that point, I got a job offer to join a consultancy down in Sydney in Australia. So at short notice, within a matter of months, I found myself relocating from Dublin to Sydney. And so we were a good 10,000 miles apart at that point. And that was quite a challenging period, both the initial 2 years in Ireland and the subsequent 2 years from being in Sydney. I came back to the UK for her birthday to propose, and then we had to figure out what the plan was because we were still in different countries.
Since getting married in 2019 and living in the UK, we're now a family of 3. We've got a little girl called Fiyin, and we're just learning how to balance it all in this season as a parent, juggle our interests, our friendships, serving in church, and even our work.
I think Black History Month is a great opportunity just to pause and recognize and celebrate the contributions that people from the Black community have made to our society over the years. It's also a really good opportunity just to have an open conversation about where exactly we are on the journey to being a more racially inclusive society. Things like unconscious bias and racial blind spots and racism are still a big problem in society. That conversation needs to be happening year-round and really requires a long-term and ongoing commitment.
We can see that the British society is becoming more embracive and more racially inclusive. Compared to when we're growing up, we can see more Black representation in different aspects of society. We can see the big shift has occurred in the church where we see people embracing each other more and more. This is why we feel at home at Kingsgate, because we can see that they're taking the right steps towards becoming more racially inclusive, especially with the formation of the Advisory Council for Multiracial Inclusion.